You know, sad movies are sad, but they're also good. Just like people watch horror movies to get scared, people watch sad movies to feel. And I mean really. Ew. And that's what we'll be going over today. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be going over some of the saddest movies I've ever watched. And I mean like really sad, so y'all might want to grab some tissues, like for real. And in the end, I'll go over one of my favorites, but also one of the saddest movies I've ever seen. And if we talking about sad movies, I gotta talk about in my belief, Disney movies are how most kids are introduced to sad films. And you may forget they have any because Disney movies now are so booty. But man, back in my day, it was hit after hit of sadness though. Toy Story 2, Jesse's backstory of being abandoned, sad. Especially after Toy Story 4 told us these dudes come to life because of us. That's so sad. That's like you think you go into the park with your mom and you get all dressed up, you get all excited, and then she just leaves you on the side of a road in a box. Monsters Inc. 2, just sad. Crazy part is I love this movie and I'm fine every time I watch it until that dang ending, bro. Cause Sully saying bye to Boo is just, I'm sorry. Then there's Nemo, which when it comes to Disney, I think could be the saddest one. Oh, and you might not believe me. A movie about fighting a fish is the most messed up one. Really? Yeah, it could be, because people forget that in the first 5 minutes of this movie, we see Marlin's wife and children get wiped out right in front of him. Yeah, they gave this dude an Uchiha backstory. And his one kid who does remain is left handicapped. Nemo, with a tiny fin like he's that dude from Scary Movie 2. Disney movies be sad, bro. I haven't even mentioned Up and Coco. Those movies left me crying like a bitch. Especially that Coco scene at the end. Remember me, although I have to say goodbye. Yeah, Disney got it. Even before those two Dollars movies like The Lion King and Bambi used to mess me up. But I think that's just animal movies in general, which could really be its own category. Dog movies in specific, they just be sad. Like Old Yeller, another Disney movie by the way, but just way before my time. About a boy whose dog gets sick and he has to put him down. And I'm not talking about euthanizing him either, nah, I wish. I mean, he had to take him out to the back and prime Fortnite 200 pump his dog. Then there's the movie Hachi, A Dog's Tale. And this one really got me. A movie about a loyal dog named Hachi and his owner, and the bond they formed over years. And when I say loyal, I mean extremely loyal. Every day he would walk with his owner to the train station before he went off to work. And every day he would come back to the train station and walk home with his owner when he came out of work. The bond these two had was special, man. These two were like the pinnacle of man and man's best friend. Pick me up every day from the train station. I know fathers that won't even do that for their kid. Not even on his 9th birthday. But one day after doing the regular routine, you know, Hachi going to the train station with him, dropping him off. While Hachi's owner is at work, he tragically passes away. I know. He was just giving a lecture in this class he teaches and then boom, collapsed. And that's not even the sad part, because since he died at work, Hachi obviously never knew. I mean, how would he? Was they gonna call him? And since he never knew, he sat there waiting at the train station for him to come back from work for 10 years. Yeah, Hachi came back every single day waiting for his owner to come back from work for a literal decade. And he's a dog, so obviously he doesn't know his owner is dead no matter how many people tell him. He just feels him missing. In his mind, his owner just isn't coming home. Dang, they must have him working really hard. And to make this all sadder, not only does Hachi literally die out in the cold waiting for his owner to come back, which just had to be, but this whole movie really happened. In Japan, this actually happened. A man left to work one day and passed away, and his dog, you know, did what Hachi did. And the people of Japan erected them a statue to symbolize loyalty and companionship. This is what I mean. I respect y'all who own pets, because movies like these are the reasons I don't want a dog. I had one when I was a kid, a Yorkie, and never again. You asking me to willingly get attached to a creature that is nothing but loyal, adorable, comforting, kind, just for them to be gone before I even turn 30? Y'all are either soldiers or masochists, because that has to be some form of torture. If I get a dog, it's gonna be when I'm in my final days. That way I can say I had a dog, but I don't have to deal with the pain of losing one. It's gonna be close too. When I say final days, I mean like my last minute. In my dying breath, I'm gonna be like, son, come here, son. Son, give me a Yorkie. But dog movies, I know they really do strike at the heart. Only ones that made me cry are the really sad ones, like Hachi and Santa Buddies. But a movie that really messed me up is now this movie, not gonna lie, was gonna be the one I put as the saddest for the vid, but I got reminded of another movie that literally scarred me, so this one gonna have to hold second place. But don't get that confused, this movie is still very, very sad. And also, one of my favorites. Seriously, if you've never seen it, please do not let one of my videos be your first experience with it. Please. So Interstellar is a movie where we follow this NASA pilot named Cooper and his two kids, his daughter Murph and his son, Timothy Chalamet. They live on Earth just like me and you in the year 26. Oh my goodness. Only with a small difference, a tiny one. Their Earth is ruined. They got some scientific explanation for it in the movie, but to sum it up, their Earth is dusty. It's ashy, nothing can grow, and it's looking like the Earth is doomed. Until one day, there's some good news. This same dust that's ruining the Earth creates a message on the ground that Cooper decodes, and he uses that to find NASA's secret base. How the dust did that, I'm not going to explain now, but it did it. And this British NASA professor tells Cooper there's still a chance to save the human race. Oh, that's great. What do I gotta abandon your kids? Yup, the only solution they had to deal with this dusty globe stuff and save humanity was for Cooper to ditch his kids to go check out planets that could potentially host life. You know, house humans. And I really wanted to make a joke about how I ditched my kids for free, no saving humanity needed. But after seeing how his kids reacted, I can't, man. I can't. Look at Murph's reaction. I don't think I could walk out on my daughter after seeing her cry like that. At least not without like a blindfold or some shades or something. No one wants their parents to leave, much less a kid who only has one of them, and let alone to freaking space. I'd rather you just tell me he went to prison. Can you say he went to prison? That's what I'd rather hear. The crazy part is it's sadder on a rewatch because you know all the messed up stuff that happens later. Bro, this junk is so sad, even the dust was telling him to stay. That's how sad it is. But alas, Cooper decides to go when he leaves his daughter Murph and Timothy Chalamet behind. And I remember watching Cooper get on that spaceship thinking, dang man, this is messed up. Leaving your kids for 2 years? 2 years? Man. But, I mean, hey, at least it's for humanity. It's saving them, and 2 years ain't that long, right? And I should have known something was gonna go wrong the second I thought this, because I was right. 2 years is not that long. The Barbie movie came out 2 years ago, and I still remember falling asleep in that theater clear as day. 2 years is not that long, and it's especially not when it's to save humanity. So, what's the catch? Well, after Cooper and the crew successfully get through this wormhole they have to go through, they have to decide which of the 3 planets they want to go to, you know, check if people can live on them. And after deciding on this one planet that's completely covered in water, things go horribly wrong. Why? Well, you know, besides the fact the planet is completely covered in water, so if humans went there, where are we gonna live? Bikini Bottom? Their ship engines get flooded, stranding them on the planet for some time. How long? About 3 hours, which may seem like nothing in the grand scheme of things, because, you know, 3 hours, what is that? Half a Stranger Things episode? That's nothing. But y'all gotta remember, this is space we're talking about. Space. Space got different rules than Earth, as we know. So when they thankfully get their engines working again and get back onto the main ship, the dude that stayed on board informs them that yeah, that may have been only a bit of time for them, but thanks to space and gravity and relativity and all other science stuff, those 3 hours were actually 23 years. Oh my goodness. When they revealed this, it felt like it happened to me. Like I was shocked. 3 hours on that planet was 23 years on Earth? That's insane. This is like the movie Old, but way worse. 23 years for 3 hours? That means a dude in the 30s could have landed on this planet, been there for about an hour, hour and a half, and he would have missed significant events. Come back to Earth confused. Germany did what? And it's not only crazy to think about, but this reveal also leads to probably the saddest scene in the movie, when we have to watch Cooper review messages his kids left him over the last 23 years and realize he pretty much missed out on their entire lives. Ah man, this thing hit me. Seeing how happy he was at first to see his kids, only for his smile to fade once he realized he wasn't able to be a part of any of it. Ah, it hurts. Their birthdays, their graduations, his son's wedding, the death of his father-in-law, the birth of his grandson, the death of his grandson, which just makes things even sadder. And even Murph's 35th birthday, which is, by the way, the same age Cooper was when he left. Even on a rewatch, bro, this is just a different level of messed up, bro. Like, if there was even a little part of me that might have seriously walked out on my future kids, after watching this scene, it's gone. It's gone. They can thank Interstellar. And it's crazy because for as sad as it is for Cooper, You know who I really feel bad for? The guy that waited for them on the spaceship. He waited on that craft for 23 years alone. And yeah, he did know about the time dilation, so maybe that helped a little. But he thought at most, these dudes gonna be down there 7 years. You know, that's a long time, but it beats 2 decades, am I right? Am I right? This junk is messed up. People be overlooking the loneliness and pain this dude must have felt. I would have gotten FOMO. I would have started thinking crazy stuff. Like, what if the planet was just so lit they abandoned me and the rest of the human race because they didn't want us to ruin the party? What if? I'm just saying. It may sound stupid, but after year 12, that's what you're gonna be thinking, bro. Yeah, this junk is sad. And it only gets sadder towards the end, too. Because in the end, not only does the whole crew die except Cooper and Anne Hathaway, but we see Cooper reunite with Mirth, which you might be like, oh, isn't that good? Yeah, it was. You're right. It's good. It truly was good. For about 5 minutes. Because by the time they reunited, Cooper's little girl was on her deathbed. Yeah, she's old now. This is so foul, bro. So foul. But hey, it shows you what this movie's about. Time. One of those things we just can't get back. So hold your loved ones close, because you never know when you might get sent on a space mission to save humanity and get thrown into a... And now, for the saddest movie of the video. Look, I got the same rules for this movie that I had for Interstellar. Watch it before you watch this, and just hope you don't get scarred. In this one, we follow a middle school boy named Jess who likes to draw, and the sad stuff already begins because this kid lives on a farm. And I don't mean the kind of farm that pops into your head when you think of a farm, you know, the fields, the cattle. Nah, I mean his family is barely scraping by and he has to wear his sister's shoes to go to school. And I didn't grow up in the best area as a kid, but being broke in a city is definitely different than being broke out in the sticks. Like, I'll take witnessing drive-bys over having to walk 15 miles to school if I miss my bus. I'm good. But his family's financial situation wasn't the only issue. Cause on top of them being broke, out of all of his siblings, Jess is not only a middle child, so you know, his parents hate him, but he's the only boy. And when you combo that with a cold dad that only seems to care about his daughters, you might start hating your home life. Like seriously though, the difference is crazy. He'll hug and kiss his daughter and wish her a good night, but for Jess, hey, lights out, little bro. Like what the? I get the whole you're supposed to raise your boys to be tougher, but dang, bro, I can't get a good night. And I remember always watching this thinking, you know, some friends would be nice to help alleviate all this suffering going on at home. But Jess didn't even get that. Because at the school he goes to, he gets bullied. And this movie really reminds you how cruel or dedicated these kids used to be to bullying. Because tell me why Jess gets on his bus, right? And some girl in the back throws a sandwich at him. Like, y'all see what I mean? That means she either made that sandwich just to throw it at him or she forfeited her lunch just to bully him. That's dedication. Jess is broke, home life ain't the best, and he has no friends. Could things get any worse? Yes. But they don't, at least not immediately. Because first, things got better for Jess when a new girl came to school, Leslie. And y'all know how back in school, everyone used to be interested every time there was a new kid, like, oh, where's she from? Yeah, nobody in the school cared. Even Jess didn't like her after she beat him in a race, which you might find silly, but I don't blame him. So yeah, the point is Jess did not like Leslie at all. But that changes fast, because after finding out they live right next door to each other, seeing she gets bullied too, and biggest of all, her giving him a stick of gum? A stick of gum? In middle school? I knew some people that would do some wild stuff for a stick of gum. Jess and Leslie start to become sort of friends. And I say sort of because Jess was still a little closed off, a little hesitant. I don't know if it was the whole cooties thing or what, but you can tell Jess and Leslie were cool, but he wasn't gonna share his Spotify playlist with her. That is until one day after school, Jess and Leslie decide to explore these woods they live by, you know, for fun. Yeah, for fun. I love running around getting bitten by mosquitoes and coming home smelling like grass. I love that stuff. But while they're exploring and talking about, you know, kid stuff, they stumble upon this old rope dangling above a creek. And this rope may have looked like an ordinary rope, but after Leslie and Jess swing on it, Leslie says this rope will now be their bridge. Bridge to what, you may ask? Well, the bridge to the other side of the creek. A place just for her and Jess. A place she names Terabithia. Ah, it's the title, Bridge to Terabithia. And you might be confused. What you mean a world for themselves? This ain't Minecraft. Well, when they swing across the creek, Leslie and Jess pretty much start playing pretend, imagining a whole world around them. A world where they're king and queen. A world where there are no bullies throwing sandwiches at them. No mean or negligent parents not showing them any love. Just them. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was rewatching this, it genuinely brought a smile to my face. Like, my feet were kicked up in the air and everything. I'm serious too. My mom came in and asked me what I was doing, because it was just so sweet. Terabithia was kind of like their escape from reality. And not only did it strike a chord with me, because I used to play pretend when I was a kid, which was probably way lamer than what they're doing. I used to just pretend I was Goku or something. But it was just also nice to see that Terabithia was making them closer as friends. Like, they started spending every day together. Leslie opened up about her family. Jess opened up about his. They went to church together. Jess even told Leslie he has a crush on their teacher, which I always thought it was ridiculous when dudes said they liked their teachers, bro. Like, out of every person in the school you could go for, you're gonna go for your teacher? Come on, bruh. The principal is right there. The point is, Terabithia was making them closer, and they finally had something to look forward to. It was making them happier. Like, y'all cannot tell me it doesn't bring even a little joy to your heart. Come on, I see that little smile, bro. Things were going great for these two. Obviously, their home life was still a problem, especially for Jess. But at the very least, things were on the up and up. Extremely on the up and up. Because just when you thought things couldn't get any better, that teacher Jess has a crush on invites him on a field trip. Which honestly, you know, I'm happy for Jess. That's my boy. This is a major win in his eyes. But is this not weird? Like, the trip to the museum is fine. That's perfectly fine. But the weird thing is that when we see Jess meet up with his teacher, she's the only one in the car. Like, it's just them two going. Like, again, I know this is a major W in Jess's eyes, but even if it was the principal calling me for a one-on-one hangout, I would have been scratching my head. But nothing happened, thankfully. The teacher wasn't a monster. Just very weird. And they hung out and enjoyed the museum. Jess really enjoyed the museum. But then Jess gets home and his family is saying how they were worried sick and they thought he died. Which is weird because, like, Mom, I told you before I left, you just ignored me. And why the heck would I be dead?
Your friend Leslie's dead. She drowned in a creek this morning. Apparently she tried to swing across on a rope and it broke.
This movie takes the darkest of darkest turns when we find out Leslie, Jesse's newfound best friend, died. Yup, and she's really dead. Like, after this point, we never see her again. I remember the first time I saw this movie, or should I say read the book in class. Bro, this part messed me up. Cause, like, I'm a kid, bro. My mom still walks me to school. And only time I seen people die was in those Disney movies we talked about. But you know, those are cartoon animals. Like, it makes me sad, but this is just grim. I remember when my third grade teacher read this part out loud, some of the kids in the class started crying, and one of the kids sitting next to me raised his hand and said what we were all thinking. Miss, you said Leslie's dead? And I think it was worse now that I watched as an adult. Like, back then it just scarred me, but now I know why it scarred me. Leslie was an 11 or 12-year-old kid who died in an accident. And it's not like she was a bad person. She didn't do anything wrong. I mean, bro, she's a kid, first of all. And the movie showed us the opposite. She was sold to us as like the reason Jess was starting to feel better. So for her to randomly get taken away like that was not only sad on its own, but it's sadder because it's realistic. The same way the movie presented it is the same way death is in real life. No build up at all. It just happens. Like, y'all know how you'll be watching like a Terminator movie or something and you'll know Arnold's about to die because you'll say something like, "Oh, get to the job, don't forget me." So, like, something like that. In real life, we know it's not like that. And this movie encapsulates that perfectly. Y'all like that word? Nah, for real. Let me tell you how real this movie is. When I lost my friend, I was at the gym. You know, I was bench pressing. I was probably about to hit a PR or something because, you know, I'm strong. And my other buddy came up to me and showed me on his phone that people were posting my friend with the caption, "RIP." And y'all know how people be saying their heart sunk to their ass? Yeah, mine actually did that. Like, I don't think I ever sped walked out of somewhere that fast. The people in the gym must have been confused. Oh my goodness. I think that guy himself. But it's cause I was just so confused and distraught. My other buddy even followed me out trying to calm me down, but all I kept saying was, "Let me just think. Would you please just let me think?" To this day, I don't know why I was saying that, but that's what I was saying. I think maybe it's just because I had so many things in my head. Like, you know when you get overwhelmed, you get hit with like 300 thoughts flooding into your mind all at the same time? That's what was happening to me, I think. Because I remember as I was processing it all, it was just guilt, anger, sadness. But then that one random thought came in. Man, this shit is just like Bridge to Terabithia. That's how real it is. I actually thought that. That's how real it is. This junk is realistic. I think that's why it hurt me so much to just see Jess go through it all. Like, cause he's also a kid and he's having to go through all these heavy feelings that honestly, you'll never be prepared for it until it happens. The scene where he's crying in class, the scene where he's mean to his sister because he's upset. And that scene with his dad comforting him. This video got me tearing up again, y'all. Jess at the end of the movie doesn't get over it, because you don't get over that stuff, but he accepts that Leslie is gone. And instead of abandoning Terabithia, he decides to build a proper bridge so he can take his little sister there and they can experience what him and Leslie experienced. That was pretty much all the movies I wanted to go over this time. And this time, instead of commenting your favorite movie, comment down below if you shed a tear or even teared up while watching this video. I'm curious. I definitely did. Also, one last thing. I'm doing a Q&A next month to celebrate a very good year on YouTube. Round of applause, round of applause. So comment down below some good questions you want me to answer. I'll make sure to pick some spicy ones to keep the video interesting. And moral of the story? Germany did what?